Week 10 predictions coming up.
I told you in a text, I'm never picking Detroit the rest of the season, so let's go Washington.
We're going to be talking a little bit of playoffs.
Playoffs?
I think they do make the playoffs. I think they finish the season the 11-5, 10-6 range, which is going to be close with their division being as tightly contested as it is. But I do think this is too talented of a team to miss the playoffs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the WNP podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson. Joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Crawshaw. Chase, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty swell. It's our trade deadline in our Dynasty League, so been kind of active. Couple offers, floaters here and there. Some progress being made. I'm working on a really big trade. Hopefully, this specific person decides to go through with the trade. They're kind of interested, kind of not at the same time. So I'm really heavily invested in that right now. So this is a really fun time of fantasy football for me. I love especially in Dynasty. I love the whole trading aspect. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. What league is this in?
This is in your league. Okay,
because someone in both leagues is trying to make a trade with me in Johnny's league. So he was like, can I just make this pick next year? And I'm like, no, you can keep it this year. So we'll see what happens.
I know who it is, don't I? I know who it is, don't I?
I mean, only 3 people in that league trade. So of course you do.
Yeah. But this person that I'm trying to trade with is not crossover in any leagues. The 2 people I am actually. And so this episode, by the time anyone's probably listening to it, trade deadline might pass, because I don't know if it takes effect like by Thursday or what. But regardless, I have a player that plays on Thursday, so if you want him, you gotta trade for him now. Jonathan Taylor is this is about the only time you'll ever get him from me. Ooh. So that's kind of to you right now, Mike. Also,
ooh boy, and I've been trying to get Jonathan Taylor for what? How long? Forever?
All season since the day I drafted him. You came up to me, hey, so Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Well, you kind of got to do that when you only have 2 or 3 running backs that are startable.
You got P. Ryan. You're good.
LaMichael P. Ryan, J.D. McKissick, pretty studly running backs. And then Darrell Henderson's been all right. I'm glad we made that trade. And then Josh Jacobs, I'm really hoping that he can stay in form like he did this past week, because he's got 6 total touchdowns and 3 of them came in week 1. So this past week he got a touchdown, which was nice, but I'm really hoping that he starts to pick up the pace a little bit. He's got a pretty poor average.
Like, what I don't get with Josh Jacobs, though, is he gets a heavy volume, and so it's like his averages are kind of low for a running back of his talent level. It's really strange, I think I remember week 2 he had 25 attempts for 99 yards. Like, that's so much. A guy like that should, on 25 attempts, he should be in the 120 minimum yards. He's just, I don't know, he's just struggling to be efficient.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either, but the Raiders are winning, so I don't think they're going to be changing much. So
nope.
But for this episode, Chase, we are going to be talking a little bit about Tua, as he performed pretty well in his second game. We're also going to be talking about the Bucs, how they got absolutely slaughtered by the Saints. Going to be talking about the Patriots and how they almost gave the Jets their very first win. And then we look at contender or pretender. This is going to be for the playoffs. So I don't really know if you see any of these teams as contenders for the Lombardi, but this is specifically for making the playoffs. After that, we're going to be doing our predictions, and I had no problem whatsoever getting through the predictions. There's a couple times where, there's 3 or 4 games. I'm like, man, I don't know who to predict. This week, I thought it was pretty easy, and honestly, there's only a couple games I'm super excited to watch. So, a little bit disappointed, but it's whatever. We get over it. All right, let's move into Tua talk, because Tua, he comes out in his second game, gets the win, and looks a lot better than he did in the first game. He's now 2-0 in his career. And
2-0. Sorry.
That was so dumb. But I think the first game of his was obviously all on Brian Flores. That's the only reason they won. This game, you can credit Tua. Tua had a nice game.
Yeah, he looked like pretty sharp. Like his first game. Like I talked about, I thought he looked all right for being thrown in there first game. Probably I was someone who thought he should have sat all year. But then game two comes around and he looked fantastic. He looked like he was just in line with those other two rookie QBs in the league. It looked like he is ready to have the job. I'm impressed. This Dolphins team, they're a true riser. Flores is a hell of a coach. So if they can help develop Tua, with the way that team is run, like they could be like, I don't want to say they're gonna be like the Patriots, but they could be a team like the Patriots in the aspect that they've got some good talent. They don't have any just true extreme unreal elite talent, but they just get it done as a whole. It's an exciting team to watch, and I look forward to watching them continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tua, if you guys don't know, is a super humble kid and a really good kid, and it's really hard not to root for him. Just 5 hours ago, a story came out, and Tua thanked Brian Flores like in an interview. He said, "Thanks for taking a shot on me, coach." Like, what a guy. Thanks for taking a shot on me. Guy was in Heisman conversation when he was in or at Alabama, and now he's looking like a stud future quarterback. Not as good as Herbert or Burrow, come on, but he's looking good, and he still comes out and goes, "Hey, thanks for taking a shot on me, coach."
Yeah, I got a couple things to say real quick. So, draft process coming into the season, I shared my thoughts on Tua. My thoughts still remain. I still have concerns on what his true ceiling is. I'm 100% rooting for the guy. He's just a true pleasure of a human being. So I'm definitely never rooting against him. But I still have my concerns, and he has looked good. So it's kind of lessen those concerns. But I still have him regardless. And then Justin Herbert, I saw a stat today. He has 9 passing touchdowns of 20 plus yards or more. 9. That is just asinine.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't bad.
It's a freaking rookie in the NFL. You find these rookie QBs, more often than not, they're kind of sporadic. They feel the pressure a little more. They struggle with those deep throws. Now Herbert's like, you know what, Patrick Mahomes too. I'm just gonna throw these just crazy downfield bombs, throw them up for crazy catches, let my guys go make plays. And dude, he's looking awesome. He's fun to watch. I still think Burrow's been the better QB of the two, but Herbert's just been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Herbert has 7 games played, has 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That is a hell of a stat line. If he stays on that pace, then he'd be around like 35, 36 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and over 4,000 yards, which is elite quarterback play.
That's a slightly rookie setting year, or rookie record setting season, which Burrow's going to break the rookie records anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he's going to break the passing yards, I think. I don't know if he's going to get to touchdowns because he's only at 11 passing touchdowns right now.
Yeah, touchdowns might happen, but passing yards for sure will. And, I kind of got to blame the touchdowns on, especially with Mixon being out, like they know he's going to fucking throw the ball. So, they know he's going to throw the ball. So, it just, what can you do?
Yeah, for sure. And I think he also added either 3 or 4 on the ground. So, he's not doing bad in that aspect, but the passing yards, he's been insane. So, let's move on from rookie quarterback talk, Chase. Let's now talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, 2 teams that I literally have no idea what they are at this point. I thought the Bucs were a great team. They're going to win the NFC South, and they're going to be a very good playoff team, where the Saints, they were going to be a playoff team, but they would lose first round. That's what I thought. And then this past week happened, and now I have no idea.
My preseason thoughts on the Bucs were they were going to have a down year, need a year to transition, then be good going forward, or good for the next season, I should say, at least. They just proved that. I mentioned that early, like a couple podcasts ago. That those thoughts are not the same for me anymore. But I still don't think they're like a contending team. And the Saints, they went out there and just absolutely mollywopped them on, was that Monday night or Sunday night? It was Sunday night. It wasn't even close. Tom Brady had a horrible game. And just the defense, they just couldn't handle the Saints either when it came down to trying to cover up for your quarterback making the mistakes. The Bucs looked ugly, and It's kind of something I worry about. I had coming in season, I really had a feeling that they were gonna have some ugly games. They've had a lot less than I thought they would. Like this was probably really like the only ugly game so far of the year, but it was ugly. It's a little concerning going forward, but at the same time, it's also Tom Brady, so he should be able to bounce back no problem. And the Saints team, I still have the same thoughts. I still think they're a good enough team, get playoffs, but not too much from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Bucs, they had to ditch the running game pretty quickly because they went down so quick. Only 5 carries, 3 to Ronald Jones, 1 to Leonard Fournette, 1 to Blaine Gabbert. And then Tom Brady, he threw 38 times, only completed 22, and threw 3 interceptions. So a really bad game for the Tampa Bay offense. The Saints, they had a pretty average day, honestly. Alvin Kamara, 40 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Drew Brees, just over 200 yards with 4 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, only 51 yards. So it was a really average game for the Saints offense, but the defense played so well. And I was actually listening to Colin Cowherd the other day, and I thought it was absolutely hysterical. He said, my guess is that Tom Brady and the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were babysitting Antonio Brown. That's why they look so shitty. And I just laughed my ass off. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I don't think it's to that extent, but it is funny nonetheless.
All right, Chase, New England versus the Jets. The Jets, they don't have a win still, but they were so close to taking down the Patriots, and this makes me think that the Patriots are a bottom 10 team in the league if this game was that close.
I picked the Jets in this game when we did our picks for a reason. Just remember, good teams win, but great teams cover. The Jets are a great team. They covered in this game, so that just proves all you need to know. The Jets are the best team in the NFL. But yeah, this game was kind of a lob ball for me trying to pick the Jets to win this, and it was way closer than I truly ever thought it was going to be. I did not think the Jets actually had a chance. Patriots looked horrible. Cam Newton, I don't. Do you watch him throw the ball? It does not make sense. It looks so awkward. It looks so uncomfortable. It looks like he's dying when he's throwing the ball. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird. It does not look like a starting NFL QB. I don't know. This Patriots team, they're just in such a weird spot. They look so good to start the year, then Cam got COVID, and then everything just went down the shitter, and looks like it's not bouncing back.
Yeah, I literally have no idea what's going to happen with this team going forward. I don't think they're a playoff team any longer. I think they sit at 3-5 now. So I don't see them being a playoff team. But then again, if they go back to form that they were in September time, then they'd have to be, right? This team is so weird because how do you perform like a top 5 team in the league, or even a top 10, we can say, because I know you and I both had them in our power rankings. How do they perform like a top 10 team in the league and then 2-3 weeks later perform like one of the worst?
Yeah, it really makes no sense, especially with a guy like Belichick. He's coached some tremendous teams in the past. I don't know if it's intentional or not. You got to assume that, Belichick obviously wants to win, but he probably would not mind at the same time getting a high pick because he does not seem like he wants to go anywhere. It seems like he wants to keep coaching. So might as well get just a legit quarterback if you can, I guess, right? I don't know. I couldn't imagine him throwing games either, but I don't know. I'm all over the place with this Patriots team because I have no idea about them.
Yeah, honestly, and I feel like the Jets threw this game because they had a 10-point lead, I think in the fourth quarter, and it really didn't look like they could have lost because of how poorly the Patriots were playing. So I feel like they threw the game, but then again, I'm thinking if Adam Gase is throwing a game, that just is going to get his ass fired even quicker. So I don't really understand it unless Joe Douglas, the GM, was like, hey, Gase, throw the game and you can be the assistant special teams Gatorade guy. I don't know.
Assistant special teams Gatorade guy. That sounds like a hell of a position.
Hey, at least he'd be still hired because after this year, he ain't getting a job anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't deserve to have a job. He's embarrassing as a head coach of the NFL. He's so bad at his job. I don't understand why he's still there. It has to be because they really want to finish 0-16 this year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Chase, what I want you to do is I want you to pull up the NFL conference standings. And while you're doing that, I will let everyone know what we are doing here. We're going to be talking a little bit of playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
So how this is going to work is I have 5 teams from the AFC and 5 teams from the NFC that are around that bubble on if they're going to make the playoffs, if they're not. We're kind of up in the air on them right now. So I'm going to ask Chase his thoughts, see if they're a playoff team or or not a playoff team. And we'll see his thoughts on that. And then I will also give my thoughts. So Chase,
right,
you got
so
your standings pulled up?
Yeah. Okay. So my question, like, do you want me to do it like just the whole AFC, the whole NFC, or like AFC
Yes.
East, AFC West?
No, conference.
Okay.
So then it's easier to look at playoffs because divisions are, meh.
Alrighty. Conference. All right.
All right, cool. So remember, 7 teams make it in each one. So I didn't obviously put like Green Bay or Kansas City. So you would assume that they're going to make it, and we'll hop into some of these bubble teams. All right, we'll go NFC first. So first up, the Arizona Cardinals, 5-3 right now. Do they make the playoffs?
I think they do make the playoffs. I think they finish the season the 11-5, 10-6 range, which is going to be close with their division being as tightly contested as it is. But I do think this is too talented of a team to miss the playoffs. Kyler Murray, he's really been putting the team on his back this year. Right now, like, in their division, I know they're tied with the Rams in terms of record, but they are above them. So as long as they can kind of hold that position, they're good to go. The 49ers, this seemed like a team, like a division, where all 4 teams can make playoffs, but the Niners, just rough season for them. And then just when I look at the Rams and the Cards, I like the Cards better than the Rams. So yeah.
Okay, so I am going to say they are a pretender. I don't think they're a playoff team this year. I think they got to wait one more year. I just don't trust Cliff Kingsbury. I think Kyler's been great, but I think when it comes down to it, when you need to win those big games at the end, those big divisional games, I think they're going to choke it. So I'm going to say a pretender here for the Cards. Let's continue in this division with the Rams at 5-3. Are the Rams a contender or pretender?
So I just kind of talked about them with the Cardinals. I think they are a pretender. I think they end up missing just very slightly. There likely will be a division where 3 teams make it. Or I shouldn't say likely, but it's very possible. I don't know. I don't know. I have this feeling that they're going to be 9-7, 10-6, and like be that last team to miss the cusp.
Okay, and then I'm going to go contender for the Rams. Just vice versa thinking for you and I between the Rams and the Cardinals. Then we're going to take a look at the San Francisco 49ers, 4-5 right now.
As I also talked about them, nope, they are missing the playoffs. This team, they're not going to be able to find their footing. Without Nick Bosa, that defense is already just way more vulnerable. The running game has just been like depleted with injuries. The receiving game's been depleted with injuries, and it was already weak as it was. When Jimmy G's played, he's looked very underwhelming. It's just all coming together to have a nightmare season for the Niners. So there's down year this year, back to form next year.
Yeah, I'm going to agree here. A pretender for the 49ers. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 3-4-1. Contender or pretender?
I mean, thanks to their division, it's got to be a contender. Their division's so bad. I'd have a hard time believing that they don't win the division. In any other division, I'd say pretender, but they're just gonna win their stupid ass NFC East. That's what that is, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna win the NFC East at like 7-8-1 and make playoffs. It's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, I'm going to agree here. That's the only reason I put it in there. Tried to do a little trick question to see if you didn't remember, the divisional winner stuff. So,
I remember.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs, unfortunately, unless the Giants, Cowboys, or football team can do something. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. So, who knows? All right, last one for the NFC Chase. The Chicago Bears, 5-4. Contenders or pretenders?
Pretenders, they're finally sliding. This team, they pretended for way too long and pulled it off for way too long. They've shown their true card. They're not a good team, and it's all collapsing. The running game is atrocious. The passing game is atrocious. The defense can't keep up with the bad offense.
All right, Chase, I want to know who your last playoff team would be then. I'm going to go, they are Contenders. I think they're going to squeeze in, but I would assume you have the 4 teams that we didn't mention, the Seahawks, Packers, Saints, Buccaneers. Then you got the Cardinals, the Eagles. So who would be your last team? You think the Lions are going to squeak in, or the Vikings?
I think the Vikings are going to squeak in. This team, they've just looked so much better. They started 1-5, and offensively, of course, Dalvin Cook's kind of helped carry them. But even defensively, they've looked a lot better from this team that is really depleted defensively. They're finally kind of figuring out they're a team that's trending in the right direction, while the Lions are trending in the wrong direction. The Vikings are going to keep that momentum going. They're going to squeeze in.
Yeah, the Vikings have been very hot, and honestly, it's been on the back of Dalvin Cook, but I don't see him stopping anytime soon. He's been phenomenal.
He's so good, you can't stop him.
You can't. You can't stop the chef. All right, let's now move to the AFC. We'll start off with the Tennessee Titans at 6-2. Pretty good record. However, in the last 3 weeks, they are 1-2. That's the reason I have them here.
I still think they make it. I couldn't put them outside. They made it last year at 9-7. They're at least going 9-7 and squeezing in somehow again this year. You know, if they go 9-7 again, they'll be their 5th year in a row of 9-7, which would be really funny. But I have a hard time believing they don't get at least 10 wins.
If they go 9-7, then Mike Vrabel is confirmed the opposite of Eric Fisher, or Jeff Fisher, excuse me.
Jeff Fisher, yeah. Honestly, though.
That'd be great. All right, next team, the Colts, 5-3, contender or pretender?
See, this is a team that I was not very high on coming into the season. Right now, they sit at 2nd in that division, so they're going to be safe in terms of that spot. They're probably that like very borderline team. You know, they might be the 7th seed to make it, but I am going to push them in.
Yeah, I'm going to agree here. I go contender. I think I had them first in our divisional predictions, and you had them last, which I remember being absolutely flabbergasted. But if you guys want to check out that episode, make sure to go back in our YouTube, Spotify, whatever you're listening on. Go back and check it out. It was a pretty good episode, and I think Davey was with us, so he always brings some type of comedy relief because we just get to bully him all the time. But
true. But like, I just want to talk about the Colts real quick. Like their wins, like they're not even that they're not that impressive. Like they're not impressive as a team. Like they just get the job done enough, and I thought they would kind of look similar to this, but just go the opposite direction. But they've been a lot of these close games that they end up just squeaking out, or they just play the Lions. So when you play the Lions, it's a free win. So they're just squeaking them out in the right direction. So it's just kind of luck of the draw, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they're a solid team though, because the Ravens,
they're fine.
The Ravens didn't pummel them, and the Ravens are a great team. I feel like their wins and losses are both close. So,
yeah, that's fair.
But also the AFC isn't as good as the NFC. So
true facts.
But hey, I was talking to my dad, and he said Justin Fields going to the Patriots, Trevor Lawrence going to the Jets, and I'm like, please, for the love of God, no. Like, we already have Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, Josh Allen. We already have all these stud young quarterbacks. We don't need 2 more.
The AFC is for sure on the rise. It's kind of like I'll use an NHL comparison. The Eastern Conference is just so much better than the Western Conference. And, some of the Western Conference teams are finally changing their style of play, and they're kind of really showing up yet again. So that's kind of what's happening here in the NFL, though. Like, the AFC, these young quarterbacks are coming in. They're going to, help continue growing. And I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of one-sided in the AFC in terms of, Super Bowls going forward for a little bit.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like we might be there already just because of how good Pat Mahomes is and the Chiefs. I could see Russ taking the throne from him, but he's so damn good. It's so hard to beat.
Yeah, it's just like having the Mahomes factor, obviously just changes everything for you as a team. you're never out of any game when you have Mahomes at QB. You could be down 40 points in the fourth quarter, you still have a chance to win.
Yep, just like they were against the Texans. Well, not 40, but
Pretty much.
All right, let's stay in the AFC West. Talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, currently 5-3, contender or pretender.
So this is a team that I really do like. It's gonna end up being close because there's some kind of close AFC teams, but I think I'm gonna push them over that hump. I think I'm gonna put them in the playoffs. It's gonna be very, very close, and I would not be surprised if I'm wrong on this either, just because the way things are shaking out, like in that space in terms of the standings in the division. But like they look like a good team. They look like a team that, they're not going to win a Super Bowl, but they could go there and, maybe make a little bit of noise.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the Raiders a lot. However, I'm going to have to give them the pretender label just because I already have 6 teams in my playoffs. There's 2 more teams to talk about coming up, and I'm going to put one of those teams in. So, pretender for the Raiders, unfortunately, I think they are on the rise for many years to come. They'll be playoff bound for years to come, but just not this year. All right, the Dolphins 5-3. They're looking really good. Tua's looking great now after his second game. So, contender or pretender?
Another team, like it's gonna be them or the Raiders in. So since I chose the Raiders, I'm going with the Dolphins. Gonna be out. They're pulling together these kind of impressive wins, and you just think if they perform a little better, like they could, really put something on the field there. But I don't know. I just don't think it's all there yet. I don't think it's all there as a team. I don't think they're fully cohesive enough. I don't think just all the talent is fully developed yet. I feel like this team's gonna drop a couple games here going forward and just miss out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Dolphins are in a similar position as the Cards. I think both have great young quarterbacks, both have great young coaches, but they're just 1 year away. So Dolphins pretender for me as well. And then final team to talk about, the Cleveland Browns, the Dog Pound. Are they a contender or pretender?
So I got to double check. So I'm currently at 6 playoff teams, or am I at 7 playoff teams? I'm at 7 playoff teams, aren't I?
Yeah, unless you want to drop out
the
Steelers, Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens.
No, which I don't. So that would put them as out, which I thought was going to be the case. Like the Browns they're not winning impressive games either. Like Baker's just not good. The running game is obviously what's kind of carrying them with the defense playing well. The offense, they're figuring out a little bit more, but going forward, I don't think they're going to look like they did the first half of the season. I think they're going to look worse. They're going to drop games. They're going to finish around the 8-8, 9-7 range.
All right, and then this is the team that I said I was putting in to the playoffs. Contender for me. They've been able to just be sustainable without Nick Chubb. They haven't shot themselves in the foot without Chubb. They've been able to keep around this wild card spot. Nick Chubb is now off the IR, so I'm excited to see Chubb come back. And with Chubb back, having him and Kareem Hunt, this is going to be they're going to go back to the 200 yards a game type team. So I think if Kevin Stefanski uses his 2 biggest weapons to the most of their ability, then I think this team can definitely make the playoffs. I hope they don't, and I hope that the Bengals do, but that's obviously not going to be the case. So I got to give the Browns a contender spot here, unfortunately. So,
I mean, maybe the Bengals win out. You never know.
I think that the Bengals could reach 5 or 6 wins. I mean, they've got the Dolphins, which looks a little bit tougher now, but I honestly still think that the Bengals could beat them. Just because Burrow and that offense have looked absolutely phenomenal these last couple of weeks.
Not impossible. I really don't think it is, but yeah, that's right. I had the Bengals being a better team than this so far in the season, like in my preseason predictions. But yeah, I the way things stand, I can't imagine them finishing more than 6 wins. Probably 5 more realistic.
I think they also have the Giants, the Redskins, and the Texans, which is fun.
The football team.
Oh yeah, sorry. Giants, football team, and Texans. So that's fun. Yeah. And you want to talk about Takk McKinley real quick? got waived by the Falcons. The Bengals scoop him up. A couple other teams were interested, including the Raiders and the Browns, but the Bengals won out, and they're going to get a former first-round pick, only 25 years old. They're basically replacing Carlos Dunlap after we traded him away.
You said the Bengals won out. The Bengals won the waiver wire because they were lower on the they're the lower ranked team, so higher on the waiver wire. So I guess it's a form of win. But that'd be cool. It's a guy that he hasn't really ever done it. Like he was expected to in his career. Maybe he does it in Cincinnati. I don't know. It's not impossible. He definitely still has the talent. Like you can see it there, but the fact that he hasn't really shown it enough yet, it's a little concerning.
It'd be cool for him to have a decent little year with us, and then we give him a 2-3 year extension, and then he blows up. So, I think that's going to happen? Maybe not, but it'd definitely be awesome to see. So, Chase, let's now move on to our predictions. The Week 10 predictions coming up. First up, we got to go over Week 9, how we did. You went 9-5, very respectable week, but I went 10-4 because of course I did. We made some last minute changes, and you actually changed from the Vikings to the Lions, and that's where your downfall came.
I didn't think the Lions could look that bad against that defense, but they did, and that's kind of why I mentioned how the Vikings are turning things around. Because I know the Lions can obviously disappoint as they have my whole life, but that level of disappointment is not completely on the team just flopping. That's in part of the Vikings doing their job. So the Vikings really impressed me, and I hate the Lions.
I think Graham started to lose faith in this Lions team, which
that's when you know it's over.
Yeah, that's something for sure. So overall record, you're at 76-57. I'm at 83-50, a 7-game difference now. Let's hop into the Week 10 predictions, starting with the Thursday night game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. This one is in Tennessee. Who you got?
So this one should be, actually, I think it's going to make a pretty close, entertaining game. I'm going to go with the Titans in a very close matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts come away with this one. The Titans defense has been kind of underwhelming, so the Colts can hopefully use their offense and attack that. But then you're going against Derrick Henry, who is a literal train on the field. So, I'm going to go with Titans, but it's close.
All right, we're starting off really well because I'm going with the Colts. We're going to have a little bit of a difference here. Very excited for that. Sorry, I was thinking about how you were talking trade that the guy plays on Thursday night, and were you referring to Jonathan Taylor or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were going out to get Derrick Henry or something.
I mean, I'd love to get Derrick Henry, but I don't think J-Do's really interested in doing that.
J-Do's not interested in checking his damn fantasy app.
True.
All right, Eagles, Giants. This one's in New York. Who you got?
Yay, go Eagles. I don't know what an Eagles chant is, but the Eagles are going to win this one.
Yeah, I agree there. Green Bay at Jacksonville. I know you're a Jacksonville stan, but if you don't pick Green Bay here, I'm going to have a real tough time dealing with you.
Yeah, that's Green Bay. Like, it's these last two games, the Eagles game and Packers game out. There's really, not really much to talk about. I think both those teams win handedly.
Washington at Detroit.
I told you in a text, I'm never picking Detroit the rest of the season, so let's go Washington.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go Detroit on this one because Washington hasn't looked great. I know their defensive line's awesome, but other than that, they haven't looked great. And now that Kyle Allen's out too, a horrible injury. I hope he gets better real soon. We send our thoughts, prayers, and wishes to him. But without him, Dwayne Haskins is benched and doesn't look like he's ever going to play again. Alex Smith, we know what he was, but is he that anymore after his brutal injury? I don't know. I gotta go to the Lions. I feel like if the Lions lose this one, then it's most definitely over. Patricia's out.
It's already over. Patricia's out at the end of the year. I guarantee it.
You better hope so, honestly.
Yeah, I do at this point.
All right, Houston at Cleveland.
No, I'm not picking Houston. Give me Cleveland, I guess. Houston, they're not going to have David Johnson, so Duke Johnson's finally going to get his chance. So Duke Johnson revenge game, who knows? Maybe he goes out and does something, but I got to go Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland here as well. Tampa Bay at Carolina. I'm a big Matt Rule guy. However, I'm going Tampa. How about you?
You know what? I'm also going Tampa.
Oh.
Yeah, I as much as I want to pick the Panthers because like they held in with the Chiefs pretty well last week. I just don't think like, it'll be a similar story. I think it'll be a close game, but I can't imagine the Bucs losing this.
Yeah, for sure. All right, the LA Chargers at the Miami Dolphins. The battle of the young QBs. Justin Herbert versus Tua Tagovailoa. Who you taking?
I want to pick the Chargers, but they keep just blowing every game they play in. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. Why not? Even though I have the Dolphins missing the playoffs, as I said, they could win this game and then kind of lose going forward. I feel like that's something that's in the realm of possibility. So I'll go with the Dolphins.
I think the Dolphins have had a defensive touchdown in the last 2 games. I don't think Justin Herbert's going to be that careless, and I also think that Justin Herbert is going to out-duel Tua. So I am going to take the Chargers in this one. I'm actually excited to watch this game. A couple of the games we've mentioned so far, kind of snoozers. This is a game I'm actually excited for. And then Indy, Tennessee, which we mentioned prior, excited for that one too. And then there's one game coming up, Chase. It's in the 4:00 time slot. Very excited for that one.
I wonder which one.
All right, Denver at LV at Las Vegas in the what do they call it? It's
the building.
Something with Star Wars. Something with Star Wars.
The Death Star.
The Death Star. There it is. Denver versus Las Vegas. Who you got?
Yeah, give me the Raiders. Broncos they're an underwhelming team. They're just really not that good of a roster. They kind of playing how I expect them to this year. And the Raiders, I love them. So give me Derek Carr throwing for like 280 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And Josh Jacobs running for 250 and 4.
Oh, okay. They're gonna just win 49-0.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, why not?
I'm going Las Vegas as well. All right, next, your boy Josh Allen versus your boy Kyler Murray. This one's in Arizona. Who you got?
I'm going to go with dramatic pause, the Bills in this one. Josh Allen, he looked great last week. It kind of expected, if you don't look great against the Seahawks defense, when you're supposed to be an elite quarterback, which he was showing like he was earlier in the year, then you're just a fraud. But he finally bounced back, looked really good. Hopefully that was the game that kind of got his confidence back. Going against the Cards, it should be a pretty offensively scripted game for both teams. So I'd imagine that the Bills throw a lot. Josh Allen can kind of do his thing. Maybe he runs one in as well. But I think Josh Allen has another great game.
Yeah, I think Buffalo wins this one as well, and not because of Josh Allen, but because of their defense. I think Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, they're right there with each other. But the defenses, there's an obvious sore spot for the Cardinals, so that's why I'm taking Buffalo as well. San Francisco at New Orleans. New Orleans absolutely dunked on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are they going to do the same to the 49ers?
I don't think they're going to dunk on them. I do think they're going to win. I think it's going to be a really boring game. I really don't have any interest watching this. I think it's going to be, there's going to be a couple touchdowns, but they're going to be dump offs or just run plays where they go for 8-9 yards, just kind of chug along down the field. So it's going to be the Saints in a boring matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Saints in a boring matchup as well, but the Saints were a team that I absolutely loved watching because I love Drew Brees, but this year they have just been so damn bored. Like, I'm literally falling asleep on the couch when I watch them.
It's because Brees can't push the ball downfield. Like, they bring in Taysom Hill to do all these things. I think they use Taysom Hill too much. If you want to use Taysom Hill so much, just make him your starting quarterback. I don't like the way they use him because it's not even like that efficient of plays. He gets touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, by higher rates than other people. But there's some plays where it's just like, what the hell was that? What was even the point of that? And taking him out on putting him out there on third downs and stuff. I don't know. It really doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the way they're using him. I like the way they used him last year better. So it's just gonna continue to be boring. Drew Brees is gonna throw it 7 yards downfield to Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. That's all that's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, come on, Taysom Hill. He's the next elite NFL quarterback. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I do remember the 31-year-old who has 13 career passes coming into the season, getting a first-round tender and getting paid $600 trillion.
Yeah, I don't know what the Saints are doing there, especially when they brought over Jameis. Let's talk about that real quick. Jameis Winston eats the dub. during one of Drew Brees' interviews after the game. And of course, it was against his old team where he formerly ate the dub. I love it. Honestly, it's probably the best celebration out there right now.
I thought it was pretty funny. I really enjoyed it.
I really hope Jameis gets a chance here once Drew Brees retires. I think this is Drew Brees' last year, so we may see him as soon as next year. Hopefully it is with the Saints. If not, then hopefully he gets a starting job because I want to see him play.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
feel that.
Seattle at the LA Rams. Who you got?
I'm going to go Seattle. I think this will be a fairly entertaining game. I think the Rams are going to hold themselves well. They're going to score some points, but Russ is just going to cook way too much. He's going to be serving them lasagna, fish fillet. He's going to be giving them pizza. He's going to be giving burgers, chicken wings. He's just going to cook it all up and have a hell of a game.
You know how triggered I'd be if Russ cooked me a fish fillet? I'd be pissed.
I don't know why that came to mind. It just did.
I would be absolutely pissed. Like, first of all, you're shitting on me. Second of all, you're going to rub a fish fillet in my face? No thanks. I would be absolutely heated. But, Chase, let's talk about the best matchup in this week's freaking schedule. The Cincinnati Bengals, they travel to Pittsburgh, to the Steel City, to verse the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. I can already feel it, Chase. I'm marking you down for Cincy as well. This is going to be a defeated Steelers team.
Are you going to get mad if I pick Cincy?
Yeah. No, I won't, but I think you'd be delusional.
Yeah, I'm picking the Steelers. I'm not picking Cincy in this. I can't do that. The Steelers defense, it's stupid. It's not even fair.
Yeah, I'm not picking the Bengals either. However, I do think there's a chance that the Steelers are overlooking the Bengals, which, some teams have done recently. And obviously they have a lot of injury and COVID concerns right now. Big Ben, we think he's playing, but is he? I don't know. So I think it's going to be a very good close game. I don't think it's going to be like the Ravens Bengals. At least I'm hoping not. But who knows? I'm not going to predict it in the Excel sheet, but since he's going to surprise everyone, I can't wait.
That doesn't count as you getting the prediction right then, right?
What?
That doesn't, if they win, doesn't mean you get the prediction right. You know that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't put in the Excel sheet Pitt/Cincy.
I know what you're saying. They're going to surprise everyone and win, but you know what? My kick rocks.
Yeah, because that's coming from my heart, not from my wallet, okay?
That's fair.
All right, Baltimore at New England. This is the Sunday night game. I would assume this is a Baltimore pick.
Yeah, it's got to be. Even though they really just don't impress me, they keep getting these matchups where it's just so beneficial to them. But their passing game, their offense is just so ugly. I don't get it. Their running game isn't even impressive either. It's just an ugly team, but the defense is too good where you just can't get over it.
Yep. All right, last up, my Minnesota Vikings versus your Chicago Bears.
Nope.
What?
Nope, not my Chicago Bears. They're going to keep on losing. The Vikings are going to win this game in primetime. And Kirk Cousins, we all know how bad he is in primetime. It's not going to matter because Dalvin Cook's rushing for another 200.
It would not surprise me. And you know what I absolutely love is Derrick Henry is no longer the rushing leader, and Alec can suck it.
There you go.
All right, well, that's it for our predictions, Chase. Let's see. Differences. We got Indy and Tennessee, Detroit and Washington, and that's it. That is it.
Yeah, boring week.
A pretty boring, straightforward week. Only two differences here. So Chase could make his way back. I could make a little bit more of a lead, or we could tie, and nothing could happen. So
that's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah, we'll have to keep you guys updated when the next time that we come on and talk to you guys, but that's going to be it for today's episode. So if you enjoyed and want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us at WNP Sports Pod on Twitter. That's again at WNP Sports Pod on Twitter. Our other socials like Facebook and Instagram, they will also be in the description if you are looking for those. If you're listening on YouTube, if you could give us a like, give us a comment, and hit that subscribe, as well as ringing the bell that will notify you when our newest episodes come out. If you're listening elsewhere, like Google Play. You like that, Chase? How I put that first?
I did like that. I appreciate that.
No problem. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast listening platforms. If you could give us a 5-star rating, we'd really appreciate it. And if you guys ever want to reach out to us, just do that on Twitter. That's the easiest way to reach out to us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys for coming out and listening. And as always, we're not professionals.